how do you go about deciding these questions?
Yeah.
And then there's also the other side of it where you can't just have it be a super hard task. You have to be creative about it.
That's not what, like, again, because we hold ourselves to the restriction that humans need to be able to do it. And that restricts you from just doing hard.
Yeah, it can't be this PhD plus.
It can't be the PhD plus. But as long as we can come up with those problems, that tells you there is a gap between human intelligence and AI. And like, people argue with me and say, oh, you don't need to aim for human intelligence if you want to aim for AGI because they're two different things. I agree. But like, our hypothesis is that the fast track towards AGI is understanding how the human brain works and understanding where the gaps are. Because if we aim for those gaps, that's going to tell us something interesting from there. We can talk about this later, but like, it's nowhere, the human brain is nowhere near theoretically optimal intelligence. Like, we got a lot of biological baggage.
I could tell you that right now, man. My human brain is not working to full capacity.
Exactly.
Ever.
So by no means am I saying it's the best example, but it is our only example of general intelligence. And so we see it as a useful model to go after. Anyway, so how do we pick the problems? Yeah. So in 2019, Francois Chollet came out with this paper called On the Measure of Intelligence, which is so fascinating because it's like, how do you come up with the problems? That's actually not the question to start with. The question to start with is, how do you define intelligence? Because if you can define it clearly, then you can come up with problems for it. Which is the freaking fascinating part. So Francois came out with this paper on the measure of intelligence. And so his definition of intelligence was, what is your ability to learn new things? It's not how good you are at chess. It's not how good you are at Go. It's not how good you are at self-driving. It's, if I give you a new task in a new domain, a new set of skills that you need to learn in order to do it, can you successfully learn that thing?
Is it how fast you learn that?
So now that's a great question. So my opening definition of intelligence is always just binary. Can you learn new things or can you not? But his actual definition of intelligence is your efficiency of learning new things. So just for example, I like to do efficiency in terms of two axes. Number one is the amount of energy required to learn new things. And we'll get into that in a second, but like, the second dimension is the amount of training data that you need to learn that new thing.
So basically, how many times you need to do it before you've learned it?
Exactly. So a crude example is, if I'm going to teach you how to play Go, we might need like 6 hours. I'll teach you the rules, and you'll become like basic at it. We can at least have a conversation around it. Think about how much training data went into the system that ended up beating Go. A lot, right? And so of course that was better skill for it, but there was almost outsized training data that went into it. So another way to do this is, do humans have an internet's worth of training data in their head to output the intelligence that you see from us right now? No. And the answer is no, it doesn't. Language models do. And so on the recent podcast, it was the internal one with OpenAI, Sam Altman, and I believe the fellow's name was Daniel, but he was talking about the efficiency of language and what is an LLM's efficiency of language versus a human's efficiency of language. And he said, by his estimate, I think this might be a little low, but he said that humans are 100,000 times more efficient with language than with current LLMs, which speaks to, and one of the underlying things that they kept on talking in the pod was that, look, compute isn't what's blocking us anymore. We have a shit ton of compute. Like, we have a lot of compute, like Stargate, all of NVIDIA. We have so much freaking compute. What's blocking us right now is more on the data side, but underlying all that, what's blocking us more is also on the algorithmic side. It's like, we just literally need new algorithms, basically breakthroughs, in order to get to the human levels of